Hello friends. Welcome to our AWS certification series. In this video, we're covering 25 important AWS Cloud Practitioner questions to help you prepare and pass the exam with confidence. These questions cover core AWS services, cloud concepts, billing, security, and best practices, everything you need to strengthen your foundational knowledge. This is part of a video series, so be sure to subscribe and follow along as we tackle more sets of AWS questions in upcoming episode. Let's get certified together. Which service can be used to view API calls to AWS services for auditing purposes? Correct answer: AWS CloudTrail. Explanation: AWS CloudTrail records AWS API calls for your account and delivers log files, helping with auditing and security analysis. Why others are incorrect? AWS config tracks resource configurations, not API calls. Amazon CloudWatch monitors metrics and logs, not detailed API history. AWS Artifact provides compliance documents, not logging or monitoring. Which AWS service allows a user to configure consolidated billing across multiple accounts? Correct answer: AWS Organizations. Explanation: AWS Organizations lets you consolidate multiple AWS accounts and manage billing centrally. Why others are incorrect? AWS Cost and Usage Report provides detailed usage data, not account linking. AWS Billing Console views manage billing, not consolidate account. Systems Manager manages EC2 and infrastructure, not billing. Which AWS storage class provides low-cost, long-term data archiving? Correct answer: Amazon S3 Glacier Deep Archive. Explanation: this is AWS' lowest-cost storage option for archiving data rarely accessed, with retrieval times in hours. Why others are incorrect? Storage Gateway hybrid cloud storage, not for archival. Amazon MQ managed message broker, unrelated to storage. Snowball physical device for data transfer, not long-term storage. Which AWS service is responsible for encrypting data at rest? Correct answer: AWS KMS. Explanation: AWS KMS manages cryptographic keys and enables encryption of data at rest across many AWS services. Why others are incorrect? AWS Shield protects against DDoS, not encryption. Guard Duty threat detection, not encryption. Security Hub aggregates security findings, doesn't encrypt. Which of the following services is always free to use in AWS? Correct answer: AWS IAM. Explanation: IAM is free and used for controlling access to AWS resources. Why others are incorrect? Aurora paid managed database. EC2 has free tier but not always free. S3 charges based on storage and access. What provides security at the subnet level in an Amazon VPC? Correct answer: Network ACLS. Explanation: Network ACLS control inbound and outbound traffic at the subnet level. Why others are incorrect. Route tables manage traffic flow, not security. Security groups work at the instance level, not subnet. NAT gateways enable Internet access for private instances, not security. Which AWS service allows encryption of data stored in Amazon S3? Correct answer: server-side encryption. Explanation: S3 can automatically encrypt data using SSE with AWS-managed or customer-provided keys. Why others are incorrect. Client-side encryption happens outside AWS, not in S3. IAM policies control access, not encryption. Guard duty threat detection, not encryption. Who is responsible for decommissioning end-of-life storage devices in AWS data centers? Correct answer: AWS. Explanation: under the shared responsibility model, AWS handles the physical security and disposal of hardware. Why others are incorrect. Customer not responsible for AWS hardware. Account creator manages resources, not physical hardware. Auditing team may verify processes, not perform decommissioning. Which AWS service helps identify the user who stopped an EC2 instance? Correct answer: AWS CloudTrail. Explanation: CloudTrail logs API calls, including the user who initiated actions like stopping instances. Why others are incorrect. CloudWatch monitors performance, not user actions. VPC flow logs captures network traffic, not API activity. Inspector assesses security vulnerabilities, not user actions. Which of the following is a pillar of the AWS well-architected framework? Correct answer: cost optimization. Explanation: AWS well-architected framework has 5 pillars, including cost optimization, which ensures efficient resource usage. Why others are incorrect. Business tech strategy, not a framework pillar. Physical controls, part of AWS responsibilities, not a design principle. Patch management, operational task, not a design pillar. Which AWS service offers a fully managed key-value NoSQL database that is serverless and scalable? Correct answer: Amazon DynamoDB. Explanation: DynamoDB is a fully managed NoSQL database service that supports key-value and document data models and is serverless. Why others are incorrect. Amazon RDS for relational databases, not NoSQL. Aurora Relational DB, not NoSQL. MemoryDB in-memory database, not key-value NoSQL by default. Which AWS service supports file sharing between multiple EC2 instances concurrently? Correct answer: Amazon EFS. Explanation: Amazon EFS is a scalable file storage system that can be mounted on multiple EC2 instances simultaneously. Why others are incorrect. Direct Connect network service, not storage. Backup manages backups, doesn't provide file system access. Snowball Edge physical data transfer device. Which AWS service provides a fully managed MySQL and PostgreSQL compatible relational database system? Correct answer: Amazon Aurora. Explanation: Aurora is a managed relational database that's compatible with MySQL and PostgreSQL, offering high performance and availability. Why others are incorrect? DynamoDB NoSQL database. Athena query service for S3, not relational DB. Neptune graph database, not relational. Which service is best for applying security rules to individual Amazon EC2 instances? Correct answer: Security group. Explanation: Security groups act as virtual firewalls that control inbound and outbound traffic to EC2 instances. Why others are incorrect? VPC Overall Networking Framework. NACLs work at the subnet level, not per instance. WEF protects web applications, not EC2 traffic. Which AWS service provides continuous delivery and deployment features? Correct answer: AWS Code Pipeline. Explanation: AWS Code Pipeline automates the build, test, and deployment phases of your release process. Why others are incorrect? Code Commit Source Code Repository. AppSync manages GraphQL APIs. Cloud9 Cloud-based IDE. Which AWS service is best for analyzing customer experience data stored in server logs at low cost? Correct answer: Amazon S3. Explanation: S3 is ideal for storing large volumes of log data cost-effectively and integrates with analytics tools like Athena. Why others are incorrect? Aurora, more expensive, used for structured data. EFS, file storage, but costlier than S3 for logs. EBS, block storage, best suited for EC2 instances. According to the AWS shared responsibility model, what is the customer always responsible for? Correct answer: Customer data. Explanation: Customers are always responsible for the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of their data on AWS. Why others are incorrect? Networking: AWS handles core networking, customer handles some config. Encryption keys can be shared, depends on the method. Software licenses depends on software, not always applicable. Which AWS service functions as a firewall at the subnet level? Correct answer: Network Access Control List. Explanation: NACLs are used to control traffic at the subnet level with stateless rules. Why others are incorrect? Route table directs traffic, doesn't secure it. VPC endpoint enables private connectivity, not filtering. Security groups, instance level firewall. Which AWS service is an in-memory data store useful for caching? Correct answer: Amazon ElastiCache. Explanation: ElastiCache supports Redis and Memcached to deliver low latency in-memory caching. Why others are incorrect? Aurora Relational Disk-Based. RDS not in-memory. Traditional DB. DynamoDB NoSQL, but not optimized for caching. Which AWS service provides automated backups by default? Correct answer: Amazon Aurora. Explanation: Aurora provides automatic backups and snapshots without performance impact. Why others are incorrect? ElastiCache Memcached does not support backup. S3 durable, but backups must be managed manually or via versioning. EFS supports backups through AWS Backup, not automatic by default. What type of database is Amazon DynamoDB? Correct answer: key value. Explanation: Amazon DynamoDB is a NoSQL database that uses a key value and document-based structure for data storage. Why others are incorrect? Relational DynamoDB is NoSQL, not relational. In memory, DynamoDB is disk-based, not in memory. Graph Amazon Neptune is AWS Graph database. Which AWS service helps decouple and scale microservices or distributed systems? Correct answer: Amazon SQS. Explanation: Amazon SQS enables message queuing, allowing microservices to communicate asynchronously and independently. Why others are incorrect? SES email sending service, not for message decoupling. Outposts hybrid cloud solution, not for app decoupling. S3 object storage, not used for messaging. Which AWS service or feature can send notifications via both SMS and email from applications? Correct answer: Amazon SNS. Explanation: SNS is a fully managed pub/sub messaging service that supports SMS, email, and HTTP/HTTPS notifications. Why others are incorrect? CloudWatch alerts, used for monitoring and triggering alarms, not multi-channel messaging. SES only supports email, not SMS. SQS queue system doesn't send direct notifications. Which AWS service provides a highly available and scalable DNS solution? Correct answer: Amazon Route 53. Explanation: Route 53 is AWS scalable and highly available domain name system web service. Why others are incorrect? CloudFront CDN for caching content, not DNS. Amazon Connect Cloud Contact Center, not related to DNS. VPC Virtual Network doesn't manage domain names. Which service can help decouple software components in a distributed architecture? Correct answer: Amazon SQS. Explanation: Amazon SQS decouples components by buffering requests between producing and consuming services. Why others are incorrect? AWS config used for resource compliance and configuration history, not for app decoupling. SES email service, not for decoupling. AWS batch, for running batch jobs, not decoupling component.